Welcome back to Arise News Now. In an order filed on Monday, Judge Andrew S. Hannon of Federal District Court for the Southern District of Texas in Brownsville prohibited the Obama administration from carrying out programs the president announced on November 20th that would offer protection from deportation and work permits to as many as 5 million undocumented immigrants.
I want to be as clear as possible. I will veto any legislation that got to my desk that took away the chance of these young people who grew up here and who are prepared to contribute to this country that would prevent them from doing so.
Well, according to a statement from the White House, the Department of Justice, legal scholars, immigration experts, and the District Court in Washington, D.C. have determined that the president's actions are well within his legal authority. The District Court's decision wrongly prevents these lawful, common-sense policies from taking effect. Well, joining us in the studio to discuss the lawsuit and the injunctions is Paul Millus, litigator of Meyer and Susie. Good to see you here.
Good to see you.
Well, you know, the president or the administration must have seen this coming. There were 26 states that were already geared up to oppose this law.
Well, I mean, I'm not quite sure if they knew the exact outcome and what the court would rely on. In this instance, the court predominantly looked at the Administrative Procedure Act aspect of it to give that likelihood of success aspect, which is needed in an injunction. But they know that they're going to get challenged on this, and they feel very strongly about their position, I believe.
Well, there are a lot of people in this country that feel strongly on both sides of this issue, pro and con. And of course, there's no question about it. I think for the average person who looks at this case, how could you take a decision, a legal decision, and get two distinct interpretations on it?
Are you saying that the law is subject to different interpretations? Is that what we're saying here?
Well, you're a legal expert.
You bet it is, Julian. Look, the law is subject to different interpretations all the time. In this instance, what it comes down to is, in reality, what is the discretion of the president? Is it as wide as he says, that if he has prosecutorial discretion, that he can make that determination for one immigrant or 5 million? Is it far less than what he says, which is being argued by the 26 states? In other words, that his discretion has limits, that he cannot simply change the immigration laws by dictate, which this memorandum basically is.
Okay, well, apparently this may go further than this. It may go all the way up to the Supreme Court, perhaps. I guess the question I want to ask here, how does this ruling affect illegal immigrants in the U.S. right now?
Right now, everything's on hold. What he put into place in terms of DAPA for these individuals at the end of November and in December is on hold until such time that there's a trial on the merits, but more likely a ruling by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. If the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals decides to let the TRO stand, that TRO is going to stand unless they appeal then to the Supreme Court to have a stay put in place pending the resolution of this on the merits.
Okay, so you have a constitutional lawyer steeped in this on the one side. You have lawmakers on the other side, although with all their proponents. Who do you think wins here? Who loses?
Well, I think the legal arguments, as I read the 150-page decision rather quickly, is quite frankly very strong. I think the judge has got something here. And really, look, it's going to be a difficult determination. The policy issues are huge. They affect so many people in very, very material ways. But I think that the rule of law has to apply. If there has to be a change, then it has to come from government. It has to come from the politicians. They have to put it together, and compromises need to be made. If it's going to change that way, that's the way it needs to be done.
There are some who would argue that putting this law in effect here would in fact help the situation when it comes to immigrants in this country. At least President Barack Obama seems it would. And what do you think about this?
Look, from the president's standpoint, everyone can point to numbers, policy numbers, tax numbers, and so forth that say that this would be a good thing. On the other hand, you have plenty of people arguing that it's going to take away jobs, that it's going to cost us money and through the benefits that have to be conferred as a result of the legal status imposed by this law on those people who are undocumented and illegal in this country. Believe me, the issues are a mile deep insofar as they're concerned. I don't know what the answer is. No one does. But we do know one thing. The rule of law must apply. And that's the bottom line. And that's what the court did here. It did its job. And we should be thankful that we have federal district court judges who will look at the facts, look at the law, and render a decision.
And I guess also thankful for an administration that will abide by those laws.
Well, let's hope so.
Okay, we'll see. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay, and you're watching Arise News Now.